Welcome to the 10-Minute Mogul podcast. I'm Adam Zucker alongside my incredible wife.
I'm Randy Zucker, and we're here to revolutionize your real estate investing journey.
We built our success from the ground up. Through determination, courage, massive action, we created a portfolio of motels, multifamily properties, and renovate over 100 homes.
We understand the challenges other investors face and know firsthand how tough it can be to pivot in the real estate game and reach that next level. That's why we developed a powerful method to help you prioritize your time, maximize your life, and build legacy wealth.
Let's spend 10 minutes together to change your life. Welcome to the 10-Minute podcast. I'm here with Craig Zucker. I'm so proud to introduce. He's my cousin. He's a state senator of Maryland. It's a huge role, a huge accomplishment. He's going to talk about his journey. He serves over 130,000 people in the state of Maryland. It's incredible. So I'd love for him to introduce himself, talk about all his journeys, and let's go.
Well, thank you, Adam. Well, look, I think you summed it up. It doesn't get any better than saying I'm your cousin. So we could probably end the interview right there and it's a success. But look, it's thank you for inviting me. And I feel like based on all of your success with this podcast and everything you're doing to help your listeners, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on, given, my background in public service. I think that, government and business has a lot of similarities, and that is based a lot on who their, the individual personalities are. But, I could tell you starting out in my career, I do represent over 130,000 people right now in the state of Maryland, in an area called Montgomery County. So if you think about the state of Maryland geographically, basically right in between Baltimore City and Washington, D.C., but I didn't start out this way, right? It took a lot of hard work, and it took building relationships to get here. And I think that is, I know that's a recipe for success in all areas of business, whether it's housing, government, or non-for-profits. Relationships and motivation is key.
Amazing. So we'd love to hear about what a typical day in your life looks like. Just kind of share with the listeners kind of what what a day like in your life looks like.
So there's no typical day. Every day is a bit different. We're a part-time legislature, so I have another job outside of the legislature. But when we're in session from January through April, there are some things that are consistent where we have certain floor schedules and committee schedules. But other than that, day to day, I never know what fire I'm putting out and where I have to find a fire extinguisher. A lot of it is both proactive and reactive, based on what constituents need, if there's an issue with government that I need to help solve. But I would say that no one day is alike, and that's what makes this job refreshing. Is it doesn't get stale, and there's always something else to look forward to the next day.
Yeah, you're known as like a solution-oriented person, right? You don't focus on the problem; you find solutions. People say that you get stuff done. You take big accomplishments and you just break them down, big projects, and you get stuff done. Can you talk about an example of something that you've broken down into smaller pieces and just talk about your leadership skills and delegation?
Sure. A couple things. One is, Adam, what you said, I really try to strive for, and that's, someone who looks for solutions. I feel like, especially in government these days, whether it's appropriate, whether you agree or not agree, elected officials have this rap, and sometimes they actually don't do a good job in terms of not being responsive and not, passing the buck, if you will. For me, what I always feel like the buck stops with me, even though I might not be the one directly handling it. I like to be the conduit to make sure that I'm linking up, whether it's a business entity, whether it's a constituent group, making sure that I'm helping them navigate the process to hopefully sometimes a favorable end. So for me, it's a matter of sometimes I can't find a way, I'll make one. But in terms of complex issues that I've helped break down, so one of the roles that I have in the state of Maryland is chair of the Senate Capital Budget Subcommittee. So what that is that I review the entire bricks and mortar budget for the state of Maryland. So that's more than $6.2 billion, of which, I have discretionary spending anywhere between $50 to $100 million. At any given time, even though I have about $50 to $100 million that I can help work with my colleagues to disperse and appropriate, every year I have over 1.2 billion with a B, $billion worth of requests that I have to go through and figure out what I will or will not be funding. And that takes a lot of management, a lot of time management, and a lot of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of analysis. So same kind of thing on the real estate side. You're looking at a property that there's these set criteria that are consistent, and you're going to have to go through, do your analysis. I mean, obviously these are just more zeros at the end, but it's probably the same process looking at a property, multifamily property. He's doing it on just a larger level. He's doing it on an entire state. So it's just more complex, but it's incredible. I mean, it's unbelievable. So like, you must have very large teams that assist you, right? So what are some of your non-core activities that you delegate out to your team so you can focus just on that?
Sure. So I think one of the quotes that I really like from Teddy Roosevelt is, the best executive is one that hires good people to get what they want done and has the self-restraint enough to keep from meddling with them while they do it. And I think that is one of the biggest flaws that I see in both elected officials leadership and business leadership, in terms of like, there's a lot, if you're an executive in top leadership, you've got a lot of stuff going on. And if you're good, you're hiring good people that you trust or building trust with. And if you're meddling with them, then you're just delaying everything. I mean, you're creating a place of poor morale, and two is you're going to be delaying projects and success. So for me, I've got a core team in my office, and then I have access to what's called the Department of Legislative Services. And they're a bipartisan, non-political branch of state government that provides help around these type of budget issues. For me, I like to get in the weeds of different projects because I have senators coming to me saying this is what's important to them. And for me, it's good to know what those projects are. So a lot of the projects of these hundreds of millions of dollars that I help to appropriate with my colleagues, a lot of them I have memorized because I know that they're important to my colleagues. But that's also, I think, in line with what you all are doing, is that if you have properties that you're selling that are important to you, it's important to have an in-depth understanding of what they are, because it helps whoever you're selling to or your partners feel value and that you're invested. With that said, one of the things, to answer your question, Adam, one of the things that I delegate is I need to be organized, right? I mean, I help keep myself organized, but I need a team of people around me that I trust that can help me keep organized. That, if I have a senator or cabinet member or someone saying, hey, we need help with this, it might be on the fly. I need to be able to relay that information in a timely way to the team that I work with and have them help me record it. And that way it's, it's just not lost in transition. But I think so. The short answer is yes. Staff is key. I could literally not do what I do without a good team around me.
No, that's awesome. And then, so what are a couple of actionable steps that you could basically give out to help people just get going or just go in the right direction? Your journey's been incredible. And, it's just, if you're just starting out or you're a seasoned investor or, you're looking to grow in your career, no matter what industry you're in, I'm sure there's some actionable steps that can help you get to that next level.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's interesting is I just thought of this at this moment is, if you're starting out your career, at least what I used to do was I used to always compare myself to other people, and everybody's career is totally different in how you get there. It might be some of the same chipping blocks, but the way they get there will be different in some way. So Adam, like for instance, with you and others, you sort of followed your interest, right? That's the most important thing, because you have to do something that you enjoy. Now, down the line, you might not enjoy it as much, but you got into it for a reason. I can't I can't say this enough that how important relationships are. One is it's important to be nice to everyone, no matter what. I don't care if you're an executive. I don't care if you're a senator. I don't care if you're a governor. I don't care if you're, just starting out in your journey and you've just started volunteering. It's important to be nice to everyone. That's a golden rule. The other truth is you never know in the future when you're nice to someone, if they'll be working for you one day, if you'll be working for them one day, or if you'll be working with them one day, or if they'll be a friend in the future. I mean, so what I would think is when you're starting out, don't think about what's going to happen the next day or the next week or the next month. Have a longer, it's a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. So take your time, build relationships, and continue to network and continue to keep people's business cards. You'll never know when you're going to need them as a resource.
Yeah, I agree with what you said 100%. I mean, the moment I stopped comparing myself to others, I basically just focused on what I wanted to do, what my passion was. It started to scale, because I believed in it. And basically, like you said, the network is something crucial that we talk about all the time. We broke down the real estate business into 4 major sections: the architect, the analysis, the management, and the networker. Right? You got to be able to connect, build those relationships. You never know who's going to send you that next deal. You don't know if you're going to partner with them. If it's just amazing opportunities. You can travel, continue your education, learning from these people, keeping up with industry standards. So your network becomes your net worth almost. Like you surround yourself by better and better people. Your teams too. Like you just want to build your teams with better and better people that will just grow with you and help you grow. And
because
everyone's interest aligned. It's like incredible.
Yeah, and they could be future partners, right? It's word of mouth. A lot of this is, word of mouth. I mean, can I just give a quick example of this, Adam? So what's interesting is, when I was in the House of Delegates, I served as a subcommittee chair on health. And it's a very complicated subject, important. So I was on the Appropriations Committee, chair of the Health Subcommittee. So all of the health operating funding for the state. So Medicaid, hospital funding, developmental disability funding flowed through the Appropriations Subcommittee that I chaired. But I was a new chair. I had just spent 4 years in the House. I was just reelected. And I was the new chair of the subcommittee. And the previous subcommittee chair was smart, but didn't necessarily get along that well with staff. And I realized that coming in, and I understood the importance of staff, working closely with staff. So when I came in, I treated the staff as though they were a co-equal. I mean, and they are. I mean, they're, as far as I was concerned, they were a delegate as well. And that's how I treated them. Obviously, I needed stuff and they would respond, but I had such a great relationship with the staff, in particular, the analyst that was assigned to the subcommittee, that years later, and this is the word of mouth thing, Adam, is years later, there was a new incoming Senate president, and his incoming chief of staff heard about me through that aide that I was so nice to. And they said, "Hey, I hear you're the nicest, guy in the State House." But so you just never know. And I don't know if that's true, but the bottom line is that you never know who you're going to be, who's going to be where, and how you're going to be working together in the future.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, other people have said about you that every day you work on finding ways to make the community stronger, better, and more prosperous. Like you're known for that. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you just go into communities, you make them better. And I love what you're doing. Keep doing it.
Well, that's because I don't want my mother, your aunt, to get, I want to keep in her good graces. And yeah.
It's incredible. I really appreciate it. I mean, I think we got a lot of value, and whoever listens to this, I think they're going to gain a lot of value as well. So the audience will really appreciate it. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I appreciate you, buddy.